Committee on Parole is called back to order. Today's date is April the 13th. The time is 1:52. Panel members today are Ms. Pearl Wise, Ms. Bonnie Jackson. My name is Tony Marabella. I'll be acting as chair. Our remote location is at East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. Mr. Morrison, is there anyone there from the prison with you in that room?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
The secretary.
Okay, could you introduce yourself, please?
How you doing this evening? My name is Jboski D Morrison DOC number 71.
I was talking to the staff member, the lady who was just there. I'll get to you in a second.
I'm Chanda Joseph. I'm the secretary.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Joseph. Mr. Morrison, if you would introduce yourself and give us your DOC number.
My name is Jboski Morrison, DOC number 712199.
Thank you. Mr. Morrison, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. The board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
This is Jboski Morrison, DOC number 712199, date of birth July 10th of 1987. He's a second felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of September 15th, 2022, adjusted good time date of May 1st of 2024, and a full term date of June 9th of 2040. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence on the charges of simple burglary and attempted possession with intent to distribute marijuana. Is all of that information correct, Mr. Morrison?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morrison, your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. Ms. Wise will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
How's it going?
All right. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Thanks for asking. You dress mighty casual today. What are you doing every day?
Working. I've been working.
Where you work at?
Clock construction.
Huh?
Clock construction.
What do you do for them?
Basically everything. Well, I do concrete work, build houses, like everything.
How long you been working for them?
2 years.
Good, good. What's the possibility with that job after you get out?
He want me to work for him when I get out.
What do you say?
I stand in Texas. I stay in Dallas, Texas. But all my family members, they reside in Louisiana.
Okay, so I guess my question is, what is he? You got the job offered to you. What is your answer to his offer? What do you say?
I mean, I was really waiting on, everything to get settled with this.
When things can get settled with this, do we know where you want to live and how you're gonna support yourself if you get let out?
Oh yeah, he got a place for me to stay and everything. He own apartments and all that.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna stay in Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Now, if you're successful. You lost 30 days of good time in November of 21. Tell us about that.
I think for a phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. You had a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When I look at your criminal history, you look like you were doing drug-related stuff, possession. Were you selling drugs or using drugs? What was that? What was going on?
Distribution, selling drugs.
And then you went over to burglaries. What was that about?
With the wrong crew. And I was with the wrong crew at the wrong time.
Because those burglaries kind of went together, didn't they? How many days? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
How many days? Go ahead.
Hey.
I said those burglaries kind of went together. Y'all just went on a crime spree for a couple of days, or what was it?
No, that was one day.
Mm-hmm.
That was,
okay.
Yes, ma'am. That was one day. They put all of them together.
Uh-huh. Y'all just went and burglarized a few places.
Yes, ma'am.
What was that about? What's that about? You said you was with the crew. How you happen to be with the wrong crew?
I was in the car. I was in the car with somebody else. I was in the car with the wrong set of guys that was on the wrong like they was on the wrong track. So
Okay, okay.
wrong place,
Uh,
wrong time.
Oh, okay, so that's really true, honey. That's really true. You telling me that's really the reason why you got this. You know, we hear that all the time.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Like, yeah.
Really,
Yeah,
it's,
I can't hear you.
I say it's really true this time. That's really what happened. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time,
Yes, ma'am, with the wrong crew.
the wrong crew. You had quite a few programs. You got well over a year in programs. Tell us what program stood out to you that you've taken.
Welding. I took reentry. What's the other one? Parents, like I think it was a parenting class. And what's the other one? I forgot the other name of the
For the ones that had an impact on you, that changed you. That's not all that you've taken.
Oh,
We
well,
have a list of all that you've taken. I just want to know which ones impacted you. Maybe help you along the way.
welding.
And that's because of what?
No, I got to teach. I got to learn. I got to teach people at the same time.
Okay. Did you know you had that skill set?
Oh no, ma'am.
Good, good. Were they hard-headed? Were they hard-headed or what?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In terms of your law enforcement, you do have law enforcement opposition, but you do have one of the judges that sentenced you that's unopposed to early release. And I just want to state that on the record. But for the most part, all the other law enforcement agencies that we got opinions from, they are opposed to your early release. And I'm just stating that for the record. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So you got a job. If you're released, you got a new place to stay. So you're definitely gonna change people, places, and things. Do you use any kind of drug? Have you used any kind of drug? No.
Never in my life.
Never in your life. Never. You just sold drugs. That's your story. Stick with it.
Never used a drug in my life. Never. 35 years of my life.
Okay. Tell me how much education you have besides the welding. How far did you get in school?
I graduated.
Graduated in what?
Wiseman High School.
Okay.
Class of 2006.
Okay. When I look at your supervision history, I characterize it as poor. What will be different this time? You still got a long supervision history ahead of you, even if you are released today.
I ain't lying, man. I ain't lying. These years, they changed me, man. I got my little girls out there, my little boy. I'm just trying to do things different.
So you got 2 children?
I got 4. One of my little girls passed away at 2 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh my goodness.
I got my little girl, my 2 little girls, and my little boy.
How many mothers is that?
2.
That's the reason for having a cell phone. You're trying to stay in contact with your family.
Oh yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's not right.
No.
Not right. It's so how many write-ups have you had? How long you been down? Call it out for the record.
Almost 7 years.
Yeah, and how many write-ups have you had?
I think 2.
I think 3.
I think 2 or 3. 3.
3.
I last write-up, I don't think the last write-up, I think they wrote me up for some slippers or something.
Okay. And that's still very well. That's still real good overall. So that's all I have. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you.
So your family's from Texas?
No, I have family in Texas. My family, they're originally from Louisiana, from Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay. What family do you still have in Louisiana?
My mother, my sisters,
And where do they live?
in Monroe.
And this job, where would you be living for the job that you've been offered?
My boss man, he owns apartments.
Where? What city? What town?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Where are your children?
In Texas. And
Okay.
I have one in Louisiana, my little boy,
And where in Louisiana is your little boy?
in Monroe.
Okay. But you would be willing to relocate to Baton Rouge if you're successful.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Even though you don't have any family here, any support here?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They come and visit.
Okay. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morrison, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
I just want to thank y'all for giving me this opportunity.
Good. Thank you very much. Panel ready to vote?
Yes, the staff member that didn't have any comments you wanted to make about how you've been doing?
He's great.
Okay, great, good to hear, good to hear. All right, just in case there was something. Mr. Morrison, you did real good for yourself today. You presented well. You've done a good job over these last 7 years. You took advantage of the opportunities that were given you. So my vote is to grant, for the reasons I just stated, and that you, the only special condition is that you do some community service for young men.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I think about 10 hours a month. Find some way to give back to your community.
Ma'am.
That's my vote.
Thank you. Ms. Wise, Ms. Jackson.
All right, Mr. Morrison, I also thought you had a good interview. Obviously, you do a good job at your work site, and your boss highly of you, and that's encouraging. And so my vote likewise would be to grant. But I would like to make a condition of that for parole that you continue to work for the transitional workforce for at least a year.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Most definitely.
Okay? So that means you can't decide to leave on your own, you can't get fired,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
okay? But that's my,
Ms. Morrison, I agree with both my colleagues, and my vote is likewise to grant. Where are you currently working now?
Clark Construction.
Clark Construction, okay? That's gonna be one of the conditions. You need to work there at least a year. If you get fired, don't quit.
Oh, yes, sir. I got you.
Good luck to you.
All right, you too. Thank you. He waiting on me too. He waiting.
I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on this interview. Maybe it's because I had too much coffee and I'm like antsy this morning, and so it's always better to. It's like, you know, you can watch two interviews. One, you're in a good mood. The other, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and you'll have two different perceptions. My perception, because I just feel a little antsy while watching this, was that it was like pulling teeth. I was like frustrated with how Miss Wise was handling it and how he was answering. It wasn't adding up. It was like trying to get information, and I was just like, just speak, like answer, like what does Texas have to do with this? Why what do you, like, it was like, what are you talking about? What's happening? Again, this is just my perspective. And then he had like this constant grin on his face, which I guess he's just nervous, but it's not often that you see that in these hearings. And it was a little off-putting. And then also when anyone says, I have never touched a drug in my life, it just makes you think, how is that possible? Maybe he doesn't include marijuana, because I don't think they specifically asked him about marijuana, and a lot of people don't consider that a drug. But if he didn't, it's pretty impressive to be a teetotaling, multi-felon doing robberies. And also, what I don't get is, why would a judge throw the book at this man? 20-year sentence. For what seemed like pretty minor felonies. Now, I know they often downgrade the felonies, but still 20 years does seem like he got the wrong side of that, and I think he took a plea deal, so it's quite shocking. And but it's everything seemed to work out for him. He ended up in work release, and it seems that he's found himself with a job and a boss that for lack of better words, adores him and wants to keep him on, and that's awesome. That's great. You know, he has a condition: don't get fired, don't quit for a year. And he doesn't seem to have the intention of doing that. Although at the beginning, with the mention of Texas, I was quite confused. But this could be one of those. I mean, you know, it's interesting. I guess if you don't have a track record that points to drugs, if you don't have any arrests in your life that say drugs, the approach would be is to just say, I've never done it, because otherwise they're gonna take you out of work release. They're gonna send you to Steve Hoyle. They're gonna tell you need more programs, and they're gonna uproot your life, even if you say that you just did a little bit. So, you know, if he has just done a little bit, still, I say good for him for knowing the system and not having them send him to a 9-month program, and probably which could result in him losing his job opportunity. So either way, let's look at the bottom line. Either way, he nailed this interview and he got the best outcome for him. So good for him. Let's give him a high five. And I'll like to take it. I'll take his word for it. Maybe he is the anomaly. He never liked substances. You know, it was for other reasons that he got caught up, which is what he was saying too. He just got caught up. Wrong place, wrong time. And like Miss Weiss said, we've heard that 1,000 times, but maybe he is the outlier. What do you think? Either way, I'm happy for it. Let him do everything right now. It's up to him. And if he does the smallest thing, like even just lose his job, he's back in here. So it's up to him to succeed, and I'm rooting for him. With that, I'll let you go.